In the spring of 1969, the United States embarked on a clandestine mission that would forever alter the fate of Cambodia. Under the codename Operation Menu, American B-52 bombers began raining down a deadly torrent of explosives on Cambodian soil. This covert bombing campaign, kept secret from the American public and Congress, targeted suspected North Vietnamese army supply lines along the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The Nixon administration, with Henry Kissinger as National Security Advisor, believed that severing this logistical artery was crucial to achieving American objectives in Southeast Asia. However, the human cost of this decision would prove to be devastating for the Cambodian people. Over the next 4 years, Operation Menu would unleash a staggering tonnage of bombs, equivalent to more than the total tonnage dropped on Japan during World War II. These aerial assaults, often indiscriminate in their targeting, ripped through villages, leveled forests, and left an enduring legacy of destruction. The bombs that failed to explode upon impact, known as unexploded ordnance, or UXO, continue to pose a deadly threat to Cambodians to this day. Prior to the bombs falling from the sky, Cambodia stood as an oasis of peace in a region engulfed by conflict. Led by Prince Norodom Sihanouk, the country had maintained a precarious neutrality amidst the escalating Vietnam War. Sihanouk, a shrewd politician, sought to safeguard his nation's independence by navigating a delicate balance between the communist bloc and the West. Cambodia, known for its ancient temples and vibrant culture, was experiencing a period of relative stability and economic growth. Sihanouk, while allowing North Vietnamese forces to use remote areas of Cambodia for logistical purposes, maintained diplomatic relations with the United States. The secret bombings, hidden from the Cambodian people, sowed the seeds of fear and uncertainty. The delicate balance that Sihanouk had maintained was about to be tipped, and Cambodia would be plunged into the abyss of war. The year 1970 marked a turning point in Cambodian history. While Sihanouk was abroad, a pro-American general named Lon Nol seized power in a bloodless coup. The United States, seeing an opportunity to install a more pliable leader in Phnom Penh, threw its support behind Lon Nol's new regime. This move proved to be a grave miscalculation, further destabilizing the country and pushing it closer to the brink. Lon Nol, emboldened by American support, severed diplomatic relations with North Vietnam and ordered the Viet Cong to leave Cambodian territory. The North Vietnamese, now facing a hostile government in Phnom Penh, intensified their military operations within Cambodia. The Cambodian people, caught in the middle of a conflict not of their making, were forced to flee their homes and seek refuge from the escalating violence. The stage was set for the rise of a new and more sinister force in Cambodian politics, the Khmer Rouge. On April 30th, 1970, President Richard Nixon appeared on television screens across America. In a somber tone, he announced to the nation that American and South Vietnamese troops had launched a ground invasion of Cambodia. This escalation of the war, Nixon argued, was necessary to destroy enemy sanctuaries and protect American soldiers fighting in Vietnam. The invasion, however, proved to be a costly misadventure. It failed to achieve its stated objectives and further inflamed anti-war sentiment back home. Campuses across the country erupted in protest, with students demanding an end to the war and a withdrawal of American troops. On May 4, 1970, at Kent State University in Ohio, National Guardsmen opened fire on a crowd of unarmed student protesters, killing 4 and wounding 9. The invasion of Cambodia marked a turning point in American public opinion on the Vietnam War. The escalating conflict in Cambodia, fueled by the American bombing campaign and the political turmoil following Lon Nol's coup, created a fertile ground for the rise of the Khmer Rouge. This radical communist movement, led by the enigmatic Pol Pot, capitalized on the widespread discontent and chaos to recruit new members and expand its influence. The Khmer Rouge, with its ideology rooted in a warped vision of agrarian utopia, promised a return to a simpler, more egalitarian society. They exploited the resentment felt by many Cambodians towards the corrupt and ineffective Lon Nol government, as well as the anger over American military intervention. As the war dragged on and the Lon Nol regime crumbled from within, the Khmer Rouge steadily gained control of vast swathes of the countryside. Their ranks swelled with disaffected peasants, students radicalized by the violence, and opportunists seeking power. By 1975, they were poised to seize control of the entire country. On April 17, 1975, the black-clad soldiers of the Khmer Rouge marched into Phnom Penh, marking the beginning of a reign of terror that would last for nearly 4 years. Under Pol Pot's brutal regime, Cambodia was transformed into a vast labor camp, sealed off from the outside world. Cities were emptied, religion abolished, and money outlawed. The educated and intellectual were targeted for elimination, along with anyone deemed an enemy of the revolution. The Khmer Rouge's radical social engineering experiment led to the deaths of an estimated 2 million Cambodians, nearly a quarter of the population. Even after the Khmer Rouge was driven from power in 1979, Cambodia continued to grapple with the legacy of war and genocide. The country was in ruins, its economy shattered, its social fabric shredded. Decades later, Cambodia is still struggling to recover from the devastation of the past. Henry Kissinger, the architect of American foreign policy during the Nixon administration, played a pivotal role in the decision to bomb Cambodia. His belief in realpolitik, the pursuit of national interest through pragmatic means, often with little regard for moral considerations, led him to advocate for a secret bombing campaign that he believed would help end the Vietnam War. Kissinger's legacy, however, is forever intertwined with the tragic consequences of the Cambodian bombing campaign. The secret war, launched with his approval, destabilized Cambodia, fueled the rise of the Khmer Rouge, and contributed to the deaths of hundreds of thousands of innocent civilians. While Kissinger's supporters argue that he was acting in the best interests of the United States, his critics maintain that he bears a heavy responsibility for the suffering inflicted on the Cambodian people. The bombing of Cambodia remains a deeply controversial chapter in American history, a stark reminder of the human cost of war and the limits of power. In the aftermath of the Vietnam War, the United States Congress passed the War Powers Resolution of 1973, an attempt